All right, first off, I gotta apologize because in the previous video with the race seat, I talked over and over about the foam, and I never showed you guys the foam, so sorry. So this is just medium density foam that I bought from Amazon. I'll leave you a link down in the description as usual. If you guys are looking for all the stuff that I use, just look in the description. I put a bunch of stuff there. But yeah, so this is 1 inch medium density foam, okay? And I cut like one piece, you know what I mean, like that, basically the size of this back cushion, and then another piece. And then that gives you a little bit of more of a lumbar support. You know what I mean? Obviously, once you're sitting on it, this will actually like compress a little bit, and it feels nice. You know what I mean? It makes it much more comfortable. You don't need it. You know what I mean? It's comfortable without, but this is a pretty thin kind of cushion. You know what I mean? For track days, you know, I'll take this out. But yeah, for the street, this is a little bit more comfortable for me for sure. Now for the looks department, like I mentioned in my intro video for the car, I do want to replace this orange lip for the black lip, a little bit of an extended lip. And I also said that eventually I'm going to end up doing a wing and a splitter, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And therefore I went with this EOS. I haven't even opened it, but this is the painted EOS OE style lip. So it's a three piece. So it basically looks like the Z07 without the canards, basically like you see in the E-Race and stuff like that. So yeah, this was like, I don't know, 400 bucks shipped, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's relatively, you know, inexpensive. It's gonna get banged up, and again, eventually I want to do like a real splitter, you know what I mean? So this is gonna be kind of temporary. Man, I gotta tell you, for 400 bucks, this is amazing. I mean, I've spent way more money on lips and splitters that didn't fit anywhere near as good as this. It's not 100% perfect, but to be honest with you, neither was the stock one. The stock one like was pretty sunken in here. This one is a little sunken in, but the stock one was even further sunken in. So yeah, man, I mean, this installs pretty easy. I mean, there's a bazillion bolts, but it even uses like the stock clips, like there's like these little pop clips here, and it uses all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm very happy, man. For 400 bucks, you really can't beat this. And I think that it really transforms the way the car looks, you know what I mean? Like that orange little bottom, you know, I wasn't really a fan, you know what I mean? Now for the main attraction, here's the wheels, guys. So these are signature SV09s, and if they look familiar, if you guys have seen my C7 videos, these is the same model wheels that I had on the C7. Those were gold, and this is a titanium gunmetal or brushed gunmetal or something like that. So I couldn't decide what color would go good with the orange. You know, the black obviously goes, you know what I mean, but it's like very pumpkin. I wanted to do something that popped. I almost just did a plain silver, but you know, I thought a little bit of a gunmetal, you know what I mean, it would look good. This is like a bright, so this is not a dark gunmetal, it's more of a silver, you know, not as gunmetal. So yeah, a little bit of a different kind of take on the gunmetal versus silver kind of thing. So these are 19-inch, okay? The fronts are 19 by 11 plus 36, and the rears are 19, 12 and a half plus 20. Now, if you guys know about C8s, you'll know that those are not like super aggressive offsets. And the reason why I didn't go with super aggressive offsets is because the car, when I picked up the car, it barely fit in the trailer. It was really difficult to get it up there because this trailer has 72 inches deck, but I think the car measures with the stock wheels and tires all tucked in like that is 79 and a half in the back. So for track wheels, I'm gonna have to figure something out that is actually not that aggressive of an offset, because look, I'm basically past the rail here, and I'm past the rail here. So it's really the rear wheels that's a problem. And I ended up having to back it in to be able to have enough tongue weight. When I put the front, I had the front all the way up here, and I only had like 200 pounds of tongue weight. So I was afraid that if I went all the way out to the fender, then the car wouldn't fit in the trailer. And honestly, you know, it's gonna be really tight. I don't know 100% if it's gonna fit. I'm just, you know, keeping my fingers crossed that it will. But yeah, I also didn't go 13-inch because honestly, there's not a whole lot of like 345 tires out there in 19s that I would run, okay? So, you know, the 12 and a half is a good compromise. You know, you can run a 225, you can run a to 45, you can run to 35, you know what I mean? And those will all work really good on a 12.5-inch rim. And I did go 11 in the event that I end up being able to run the Supercar 3R, okay? Now, everything that I hear with the Corvette, with the C8, man, is that they're very, very sensitive to like front to back kind of ratios and stuff like that. And when you deviate a lot from factory, you know, it kind of goes off. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens there. But ideally, I would like to run the Camaro Z011LE Supercar 3R in the 305 and 325 in the rear, just like I had on the C7. Now, these wheels are not the lightest wheels. I did opt out for the SRA, which is Signature's strengthening program. And I guess they make the inner and outer lips a little bit thicker. So more of an endurance type of wheel. Hopefully it lasts longer, because wheels, you know, they are a consumable. So you definitely need to check them, you know, every so often, you know what I mean? Make sure they're not bent and stuff like that. Make sure they're not cracked and stuff like that. So yeah, this is hoping that, you know, the wheels will last longer. For now, I'm gonna be running these Nankang CRS V2s. I think I got the last ones in the country before like new containers came. So this is a 295/30/19 for the front. And then for the rear is a 225/30/19. And I'm also gonna be running a set of titanium lug nuts. These are the same lug nuts that I ran on the C7. I get these from DSX Tuning. Man, the quality on these is amazing. And the price is honestly very, very fair. I would definitely look them up if you're interested in titanium lug nuts. Made in the USA. These are it, man. I ran them on the C7 for like 4 years and never had a problem. So these are not as light as aluminum, okay? But they're obviously not as soft as aluminum, but they will be way lighter than these beefy stock, you know, steel lug nuts. So speaking of weight, so, you know, the hope is that even though I went with a more of an endurance type of wheel build, okay, that I am gonna end up saving some weights versus the stock deal. So let me get these out. Let me get the scale out here, and let's compare some of these weights. So these stock Michelins, man, are very wide. I mean, they're like the same width as the Nankang 295. So the stock front tire is a 275, okay? And yeah, man, I mean, look at that. They're even on both sides. 275, 295, go figure. And on the rear, I mean, the stock rear is massive. This is at least 1.5 inches wider. So 345, 325, yeah, man. So this is a 13-inch rim, and if you look, the stock tire bulges past the freaking rim on both sides quite a bit, you know. So these stock Michelins, man, are very, 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 very wide. This is the stock front wheel. We're at 58.2 pounds. Stock front. Now the stock rear. Oh, mama. This is a heavy, heavy freaking wheel and tire. Wow. 71.2 pounds. That is crazy. Oops. The signature front. 51.2 pounds. The signature rear. Come on, stay there. 60.2. Hold on, let me redo it because the wheel was moving. 60.2 pounds. Yeah, wow, that's a massive difference. All right, so let's see what these lug nuts weigh. I think we're gonna do grams. That'll be the closest. So we have 50.3 grams for the titanium ones, all 20 of them. Okay, now the stock steel ones. I'll put them in the same baggie. So 1,809 grams. So that's a difference of about like 1,759 or so grams, which is like 3.8 pounds. So a pretty good difference. All right, so we ended up saving a lot of weight, man. So the stock front wheels are 58.2 pounds. The stock rear wheels are 71.2 pounds. So we times that 2, we have 258.8 pounds for the stock wheel setup. And the aftermarket wheels, the front is 51.2, the rear is 60.2 times 2 is 222.8. So that minus that, we equals 36 pounds. And then we add the 3.8 pounds that we save on the lug nuts, and we save 39.8 pounds. Call it 40 pounds. That's awesome, man. You know what I mean? For bigger front wheel and a similar size rear wheel, man, that's awesome. That we, you know, any weight that you can lose on this big girl, man, is gonna make a big difference. See, it's the problem with this car. You can't see shit that way. Okay, so far on the street, the new wheel tire combo, man, feel great. I thought they were gonna feel like softer or more squishy, more vague than the stock setup, because the stock tires, you know, being run flat, they're just so stiff. And the Nankang CRS is not really known to be like the stiffest tire, okay? But I think that because, you know, especially up front, I have an 11-inch wheel, and I stretched that 295 into it. The back as well. I mean, the back is a 12.5, and I put a 325. So far, I mean, it feels great, man. Great traction, and it's actually quite a bit quieter, believe it or not, even on the highway at highway speeds. I always thought this car had a lot of road noise, and I thought it could be from the tires, but man, now I know for sure the tires. Those Michelins are so freaking loud. Now there's still wind noise, and you still hear some road noise, and you still hear the tires a little bit. As far as, you know, handling and stuff like that, we're gonna have to wait for the track. I'm gonna take a little twisties that I have here near me, give you my impressions. But really, the real difference, or the real review, is gonna come, you know, once I test out the stock wheel and tire versus this aftermarket, you know, wheel and tire combo on the track. We can compare, you know, how they feel to me, and obviously lap times. Too much traffic, man. Yeah, this feels great. Does feel a little soft, not gonna lie. Feels awesome. All right. Let's chill. All right, boys, there you have it. I am very happy with the way this came out. I really like the front lip. For 400 bucks, man, you really cannot beat this. It looks OEM. It fits as good as the OEM one. Yeah, definitely no brainer. And it definitely, you know, completed the car. I think with all the lower trim black, it looks proper. That orange, the little orange lip, it just looked kind of too plain. Now the wheels, I really like the wheels. I love the color. I think, you know, everybody's doing like bronze and gold, and I like the gold, but I just wanted to try to do something different, you know what I mean? And I really like this design. Now, I will admit, I do like the way the 20s and the 21s, or the stock sizes, look better. This is kind of reminiscent of the C6s or C7s. When you put them on 18-inch wheels, you get, you know, a little bit of a monster truck look, you know what I mean? And, you know, you can lower it. I know you can lower it, but I don't want to play around with the suspension geometry just yet. I want to get it on track and really get a feel for the car before I start doing, geometry changes and stuff like that, lowering it and all that kind of jazz. I am a little bummed out that I had to do a wimpy offset setup, and it's gonna look even more wimpy when I do the track alignment. But, you know, like I told you guys, I'm kind of, you know, stuck with the with my trailer width. And I'm definitely very happy that I was able to drop a lot of weight, especially rotational weight. The car does feel a little faster, and the 19-inch tire setups are much cheaper than the stock size 20s and 21s. And again, I'm really hoping that the 19s work. I've heard a lot of people telling me that they're not, but I would really like to run the supercar 3R, you know, 305, 325, like I was running on the C7. All right, boys, well, she is ready for track work at this point. I got my grill protectors on. I got my PPF. I got my brake fluid. I didn't swap the pads because, like I told you guys in the intro, I do want to try and probably burn up the stock pads. I have my track wheel set up. I have my other grills back here. And I have my seat and my harness back there, like you guys already saw. So yeah, on the next episode, guys, we're gonna be taking this beast out to the track for the first time. Stay tuned. Peace out.